when religious people talk to me, they reprimand me, depending on what religion they belong to. But I usually answer them, well, I mean, you say this because you believe in your own religion, and you need to say what you're told to say. They don't tell me to say what somebody else tells me to say. I say what I think I should say. So actually, the main thing is that some have come up and said, well, I mean, you're way out of line. Well, I mean, maybe I'm out of line in your concepts, the way you think, the way you have been reared to think or conditioned to think, not brainwashed, you know. But some have been there for ages and ages, and they just say what they want to belong to that particular sect or religion. They must say what the whole organization believes in. They cannot say otherwise. See, they claim it is believed that there's a frame in each one religion, and all the religious people, the clergy of that particular sect or religion, must function within the frame. They cannot get out of the frame, because they claim that their own theologians are the ones that fix the frame for them to function within. Well, in my case, I jump in and out of the frame because I don't belong to anyone in particular, and I belong to one that I believe in. Of course, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, supposedly Christian, maybe a little liberal in my concepts of how I believe and so on. But you see, I've gone in too many years now in the research of brain and mind, and when you research the mind, that is the invisible part of the human being that delves into the kingdom of God, because the kingdom of God, remember, is a spiritual, non-physical, invisible dimension. We don't see God physically. We contact God mentally. So mentally means invisibly. So again, we are specialists in the world of the mind dimension. We help people function better in the world of the mind. And when we do, of course, we expect people to function better in their own religions. So I have been reprimanded by other religious leaders in several different religions, but my answer to them is, well, I know what you mean. You need to say what you're told to say, and that's it. So I consider this. So don't think that I'm going to be angry because you're reprimanding me. You're right in your own concepts, but I think I'm right in my own too. So this is my personal concept, and when I talk about religion, I'm talking about not the way you pray to your God. I'm talking about how to communicate with the spirit dimension where we suspect God to exist. If I'm a Catholic, I need to believe, they tell me that I must say that Jesus was God. But you see, I don't feel comfortable because in reading the Bible, and as we know that the Bible was composed by many authors, and these authors included, they couldn't have escaped, but included their own personal concepts at the time that they wrote the Bible, that script, particular part of the script, you know. So actually, I say, I don't believe that Jesus was the supreme God of the whole universe. Connected to the godly concept, to the hierarchy of intelligence, like I am at a lower level, yes, but he may be, no question about it, at a higher level. But you see, I cannot say that Jesus was God because notice that the author who wrote that part that explains what Jesus was doing or going through when he was crucified, at the very end, Jesus said, my God, why have you, you know, and so forth, forgotten him, you know. And then in your arms I commend my spirit. When he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Who is he talking to? To himself? If he's the God of the whole universe, or the supreme God of the universe, he's talking to somebody higher than he. Now, that's my personal concept. So that's very important to consider because the author wrote that in, and if we're going to believe that the author was inspired by God, meaning by a higher supreme being, to express that manner of Jesus saying this, my God, why have you forsaken me? Who is he talking to? He could not be talking to himself. And then again, when he says, in thy hands I command my spirit, he must be talking to a higher one, not himself. Again, there must be a supreme God of the universe. Higher than Jesus, I take it, or considered to be higher than me, but I'm also connected to the godly concept or the hierarchy of gods. I'm a God at a lower level. because I solve problems too. And God solves problems because God is intelligence, and intelligence, it takes intelligence to solve problems. So anytime I solve problems, I'm connected to the godly concept because God is a creator, not a destroyer. So if my mind is applied, my intelligence applied to solving problems, not creating problems, I'm on the right side of God, of the godly concept, the hierarchy of intelligence in the whole universe. So that's another thing that sometimes gets you a little confused in a way. If you read the scriptures and you consider what's going on, notice what happened here. The only time that we could have helped Jesus was when he was up in the trial, and then a choice was given to save him or Barabbas, a bandit. We chose the bandit. The only time we could have helped him, we turned him down. Can you imagine that after he did so much for us? Now we say he's coming back. I mean, if you had been treated the way we treated him, would you be willing to come back? That's one question there. It doesn't make sense. And we talk about sense-making information, we're saying common sense, a sound judgment. If we use sound judgment here, why must we need to have one individual coming back who passed through planet Earth, and billions of us have come and gone? Why must we want him to come back and straighten out our problems? What are we supposed to be doing then? Nothing? Just creating problems for him to come back and solve? We don't make sense anymore. That's one area. Another one is, it is said that human beings on planet Earth now, because of medicine, medical science, have extended our longevity, life on this planet, to males 74, females 76, more or less. Meaning, some die younger, some die older, but overall average 74, 76. Meaning that in less than a period of 100 years, everybody who is alive now will not be on the planet 100 years from now. New people will replace us, whether we like it or not. The planet Earth is serving as a giant airport where thousands land per hour and thousands take off per hour. This planet has changed over its population more than 24 times, and we have not, those who were here, have not seen Jesus come back. And they keep on telling us he's coming back, and he's coming back. I'm saying, why must he come back when we're supposed to be doing the work he's supposed to have done? He told us what to do. Many people, praise or whatever, pray or direct themselves to the crucifixion of Jesus on the cross. Jesus on the cross. That's not the valuable part that my concept, sound judgment tells me. The most important thing is the message that Jesus brought to earth. How to get into the inner kingdom of God, inner kingdom of heaven. Luke wrote, and if we're going to believe some of the authors, something of what they wrote. Look in chapter 17, verses 21. He's saying, because we doubt, and some will say, if they say it's here or there, the kingdom of heaven, do not believe them. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So how can you enter you? Mentally, of course. So it must be a mental kingdom, a spiritual kingdom, and mind is spiritual. We use mind spiritual to enter a spiritual kingdom of heaven that's within us. And why must we enter this kingdom? Because there you can solve many problems. And that's the message that I believe that Jesus brought to planet Earth. So the value of Jesus coming to planet Earth is the message he brought to Earth, and he called it the keys to enter the kingdom of heaven. How to do it, not his crucifixion. So the value was his peak of life in teaching us what to do, and we have not done it. Now we think we're going now to understand. We're starting to understand what he meant and enter our own selves into the inner dimension of mind to be able to use the right brain hemisphere, which is the converter or translator or transformer that deals in the spirit world. So we are entering that dimension, the world of the mind, where everything can be done first in order for it to be done later in the world of physics. So if we solve a problem in the world of the mind, chances are that problem is going to be resolved in the world of physics. And that's what I think the message that Jesus brought to planet Earth. So we do not need to have Jesus come back. All we need is to recall the message he brought to planet Earth and use it. That's my concept again. The sleep control has never failed on the ones that we know have taken our training in thousands, now millions. And we have had many people come to take the training because they have insomnia. I know of people who have told me, I had insomnia for 30 years, others 40 years, taking drugs to go to sleep. Now, thank God that this system has come along, this method, and I don't take drugs anymore, because every time you take drugs, either for going to sleep or alleviation of pain, you're altering your body chemistry, and anything can happen from there on to throw out of control your whole mechanism, body mechanisms. So the least drugs you take to alleviate any kind of problem, the better off you are. So if there are mental techniques that you can use to be able to go to sleep with and not use drugs, use your mental techniques. If you can use mental techniques to get rid of pain, use mental techniques instead of drugs, and so on. So the main thing is that this person evidently did not use the formula correctly. The formula means go from 100 to 1 as many times as it takes for you to go to sleep. Even if you have to go over it 10 times, even if you work all night with numbers from 100 to 1, but do not stop until you set your mind up that you plan and mean to continue until you go to sleep, and your mind is so intelligent that it prefers to go to sleep than work all night. Just review the awake control first. The awake control, we mentioned that if you are going to go to sleep and you want to practice your mind control for future emergency uses, maybe that might come along. But for instance, you're practicing to develop your mind control, to awaken you when you want to awaken automatically. Let's say it's 12 o'clock at night, we mentioned. Well, look at a clock and look at the hands of the clock. It's 12 o'clock. Then let's say that you want to awaken at 3 o'clock in the morning. Then mentally move those hands of the clock to point to 3 o'clock in the morning. Then you say, this is the time I want to awaken. This is the time I am going to awaken. Then you go to sleep from your level. You see, all this is done at your level. Remember that you're practicing the 100 to 1, 75 to 1, 50 to 1, 25 to 1, and so forth, until you get to the 5 to 1. Now, once you get to the 5 to 1, this is you reaching your level. All things that we have mentioned that can be done at your level. Now, to awaken automatically without an alarm clock can take place and will take place at your level. You do it at your level. So you go to sleep from your level. Let's say we mentioned that your name was John. At 3 o'clock, a voice of a male or female will awaken you. Would say, John, John, you said 3 o'clock, wake up, John, John, wake up, John, if your name is John, and you will awaken. Sometimes a barking dog will awaken you. Sometimes the telephone rings, a wrong number or whatever, and you will awaken at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now remember that this is testing yourself to specialize in controlling your mind, in mind control. Well, you want better mind control. Practice, and you get better at it. Now, remember that here, who are the voices that awaken you? We suspect the spirit dimension, entities in the spirit dimension who are helping us to solve problems when we consider them to exist. Very important factor. Now, if you want to awaken, in order to solve a problem, it will never fail. If you want to awaken to create a problem, nobody will awaken you from the other dimension. Keep that in mind. It's not automatic anymore. Okay? So now, dream control. To be able, everybody dreams, you know. It is said that everybody dreams. There are sleep and dream cycles. And it takes 90 minutes for a complete dream and sleep cycle. And how many of these cycles you go through at night, depending how long you go to sleep. For how many hours do you sleep? Well, divide by 1.5, and you've got the many cycles that you go through, sleep and dream cycles. It's as though your brain slows down to the level when you were born, and then come up again to the level where you are now. It's like going back and going over all experiences in your life. So, everybody dreams, but not everybody remembers their dreams. You must start practicing to remember a dream. And of course, you want to dream it in color. Some people say they dream in black and white. Well, they can change it to dream in color, in technicolor, you know, and we'll give you some ideas how to do that also. So now, The idea is to remember your dreams. How are you going to remember your dreams? Before you go to sleep at night, you will enter your level. You see, you are programming yourself at your level. There's a very powerful level of mind there, brain, mind, wise. So once at your level, you tell yourself, I want to have a dream, and I want to remember the dream, and go to sleep. Now, when you wake up, either throughout the night, during the night, or in the morning, you're going to have a dream, and you're going to remember it. If you don't get it the first night, try it again until you get it. Once you are sure that you've gotten this technique to respond, then you go and to your level and say plurally. You will now, in the plural sense, I want to have dreams. I want to remember my dreams. More than one this time. That's step 2. Now, again, be successful in that one. Until you remember several dreams, have several dreams, you recall them. Now, the third step, I want to have a dream, I want to remember a dream, and I want to analyze the dream. I want to understand the dream. You see, there's a different thing because some dreams are symbolic. I want to understand my dream. So I want to have a dream, I want to remember it, and I want to understand it in relation to a problem that you have in mind as to what to do about it. You might have a dream during the night, you wake up during the night, or in the morning with a vivid recollection of a dream that will tell you what to do about solving your problem. And this is dream control, we call it. It's one of the techniques that is taught in our Silva method type of training.
Discover Jose Silva's techniques to solve common problems and program yourself for success in the Choose Success Master Course at booksellers worldwide in ebook, audio, print, and large print editions.